Hi guys, my name is Vic, or V. My brother and sister call me V, so I don't know, whichever you prefer. Um, so this video you can see is called Why Did I Choose Brazilian Species? Well, I had two teas about 3 years ago. One was a Grammostola pulchripes, which I grew from a sling up to about 4 inches, but one day she just died. I don't know why it happened or what the reason was. I had no idea. I still don't have any idea. And about a week or two later, my pink zebra beauty sling died as well. Also, I had no idea why or if I had done something wrong. I was quite upset about it. I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, so I started watching all the tarantula videos that I could at the time, and realized that I actually hadn't done anything wrong. Anyway, but it was quite a good thing for me to watch the videos, because I'd seen that other people, long-term keepers, that also had similar kind of things happen to them with their teas had died, and for no apparent reason. So after a while, I decided I want to try again, and it took a while before I bought my first tea as my second attempt as a tarantula owner. So after some research, I wanted to. I thought it probably best that I get something that was rather tough and as good as a beginner species that would be quite tough, and so I chose the Chilean rose, the Grammostola rosea. I bought it just because, well, firstly it was cheap, but I also liked that it was said by so many tarantula owners and YouTubers that it was a particularly hardy species, which lived in the Chilean desert, where temperatures fluctuated between extreme highs and lows. So I thought, as my second attempt tea owner, this would be a sure safe option for a long-term survivor, and I thought it would be forgiving if I made any noob blunders. So why did I choose the Brazilian species? It was quite simple after watching all of the videos. I didn't necessarily want to start off with any particular species as such, but the basis for my decision was pretty much I want another tarantula, and I don't want it to die on me, so what can I choose that will need the least amount of equipment or care from me? My concern was that I was under the impression that some species were very sensitive to temperature and to humidity, which obviously is the case. So I wanted to choose something that would live in a very similar environment to the one that I stay in. So I live on the east coast of South Africa, which is about 30 kilometers or 19 miles from the east coast. So I looked at that as one of the factors, and also looked at we are a little over 2,000 miles away from the equator, on the south side of the equator, and Brazil is about 1,600 miles from the equator on the southern side as well. Then I looked at the temperatures. Brazil's average temperature on the low is 19 degrees Celsius or 66 Fahrenheit. And the specific area that I stay in is 18 degrees Celsius or 64 Fahrenheit, so they're pretty close. And then Brazil's average high is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 Fahrenheit, and my area is pretty much exactly the same. So humidity, that's obviously a factor that you have to look into with tarantulas. I looked at Brazil's, which is a 65% low and 90% on the high, and my area is very, very close. Our lows are 64%, which is 1% less than the low of Brazil, and our highs is 82%, which is 8% lower the high of Brazil. So pretty much they're pretty darn close. So I thought, well, it's probably the best kind of species or you know, the area where they come from would be a good match. So, you know, for as far as climate is concerned. So, why was it a concern for me on the temperature and the humidity side of things? Well, it was a concern because South Africa had some serious system problems with the electrical infrastructure. The country was using electricity almost to the maximum of what the power plants could supply at the time. So they implemented what they called load shedding, which is basically to shed the electricity load so the industry could supply to the public and the industry by limiting what they could use. And the government implemented a national power cut roster, which they called the load shedding roster. At certain times of the day or night, power grids would be shut down according to their roster, which was supposed to be done on a predetermined time schedule. Basically, that would limit the use at certain times of the day or night from certain areas and ease the load on the power plants. But the roster wasn't kept to in many cases, and it seemed more sporadic and random at times. So your area may have been shut down at the correct time, but the power cut may have extended for a day or two longer than what they said it would be. And other times they wouldn't cut off at all, despite the roster saying that they would turn off your area. So it was very, like I said, sporadic. Anyway, I didn't want to have a species that would be dependent on electrical gadgets to keep humidity and temperature conditions right. So because of unpredictable power grid at the time, I just didn't think it was wise to choose something that would need these kind of gadgets to help, you know, keep them in a living condition that was helpful or critical for them to live in. So yeah, I didn't want teas dying because of equipment that would fail because the power grid was off. So long story, but then sorry, I've lost my place. I kind of typed out everything, so I know where I was, but now I've over. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. But so now you know why I chose the species that I did. The ones I chose was after choosing the Grammostola rosea, I chose a Nandrochromatus sling and a Lasiodora difficilis sling. And yeah, so those are the two Brazilian species. And then I've just recently acquired a subadult, or well, I don't know if it's a juvie or a subadult, but it's about 4 inches, and that's also a Nandrochromatus, which is the Brazilian fire red, Brazilian red and white. Sorry. But tomorrow's feeding day, so obviously I'm going to try to feed them all again. Although I think 2 of them may not eat, because obviously you might have seen in the first video or the previous video. The Grammostola rosea seems to be in pre-molt. She closed up her enclosure yesterday, so it's probably going to be another 3 weeks to a month before I see her again, and hopefully she'll have a successful molt. And then the sling Nandrochromatus, she may not eat. I did put a roach in on Thursday, but she didn't take that, so I took it out. I'll just put it in again tomorrow, and we'll see if she takes it or not. Obviously, if she doesn't take it, I'm not going to add that footage into the video because that's just pointless. Nobody wants to see a roach running around and there's no takedown. But the other 2, the 4-inch Nandrochromatus, that should take food. I think she looks pretty hungry. She's been walking around the enclosure. I'm presuming she's looking for food. And the Lasiodora difficilis is in pounce mode at the moment. She's standing at the entrance of her hide. She seems to do that when she's looking for food. So I'm presuming we're going to have a successful feeding on those two at least. But anyway, that's it for me for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on feeding day, or the third feeding video. Thanks. Bye.